What's happening, everybody?
Hello, what's happening?
You, my friend. Hello. Welcome to the Hammer. Or welcome back.
Thank you.
Have you been here before?
Come on, man.
Oh wait, no, of course, yes. Was Boondocks not? Where was Boondocks filmed?
Fuck that. I shot Savage Planet here.
Savage Planet. Tell me about Savage
It was
Planet.
fucking Space Bears, man. Yeah. That shit was Sharknado before fucking Sharknado was Sharknado.
Man.
I had Space Bears, motherfucker.
And now,
Bears in space.
now we need the sequel to that, and it has to be like a crossover with Cocaine Bear, and then it's Space Cocaine
Fuck
Bear.
Cocaine Bear. That's made up chemical shit. My bears were just naturally fucking vicious. They didn't need pharmaceuticals. What kind of shit is that? Well, if it does a bump, then it'll get really scary. Fuck that shit.
Are we talking water bears here?
I'm talking
Little
Space
targets?
Bears, motherfucker.
Space Bears.
Space Bears.
I am absolutely loving this already. We're on the rails, and we're not staying there long at all. Mr. Sean Patrick Flannery, thank you so much for doing this. Listen, when you come and do all these, and people come up to you and like, oh, I love you from Powder, I love you from Indiana Jones, I love you from this. What is the one thing that people say, and you're like, oh shit, you saw that?
No, what impresses me the most is when, I mean, usually they come up and they look at me, and then I see their eyes go down, and they go back and they're like, you're much more well hung than I thought. And
Right, well,
I mean, normally a random package check, you know, it'll shake some people, but not me. I just fucking flow with that shit. I'm Tom Jones. She's a lady. Whoa. You're too young. Tom Jones was fucking on. I mean, he used to do TV shows, and you would see, not me. I'm become a bog, below average white guy. Yeah, it's a true story. No, I'm flattered, man. I'm flattered every time somebody sees anything that you do in this industry. They come up and they want to say, hey, I saw this movie or something.
Right.
Let me tell you, I've had real jobs, man. Nobody comes up to you 10 years later for any other job. I used to work at Church's Fried Chicken. No motherfucker ever went through the drive-thru and said, hey man, I don't want to place an order. I just want to say, nice golden brown on that wing last week. That never fucking happened. Not once. Not a single time. I put culverts under driveways. Like, no shit, I dug ditches.
Yeah.
Never once did somebody, just want to say, driveway's still holding up. That never happened. Never.
to be fair though, that driveway sunk.
I was good at that shit, man. I hated it, but I was good at it.
What is that like though? That transition when you do finally get off of, you know, pouring concrete, or when you get to, like, when you're doing, because you did young indie like early on. How old were you when you were doing that?
I was an adult. I went to college, I finished college and everything.
Really?
Yeah, man, I was playing 16, I was 24.
Damn, they say black don't crack.
Yeah, but let me tell you this, pros and the cons of that shit, right? The cons are when you're in college, you see a hot chick, you're like, hey baby, she's like, oh my god, do you have any older brothers? You're gonna be so cute when you grow up. You're like, baby, you're 19, I'm 21, let's do the show. Oh my god, you're so cute. One day, maybe. You know, cut to, now she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, back up, grandma. So the pros and the cons.
Right. It is a pretty blessed life, though.
Let me tell you this. I've had real jobs, and this is the only job. Like, no shit. I always make a joke. I haven't had to get a real job in 30 years, and it's true. It's the first time ever that people go and do something for free in hopes that one day somebody will pay you to do it. Yes. Nobody ever fucking did open heart surgery for a year hoping that somebody would be like, I ended up living, you should hire him to do it for you too. No, they don't do it unless you pay them. Mm-hmm. But in this industry, people move out to LA, they get a roommate on Craigslist, and they do free movies in hopes that a director will see them and cast them and give them a job. And it's not lost on me. I'm very grateful for that I hadn't had to get a real job in a long time. I hope it never ends.
Right. I'm
flattered, I'm tickled, I feel blessed. I don't take it for granted.
And you work steady. Like, you are working a lot. Like, and not even just the stuff that everyone sees. You know, we saw you, last season on The Boys, or 2 seasons ago on The Boys. You are still, like, headlining shows, #1 on the call sheets on a lot of shows.
Dude, I'll crush some Savage Planet Part 7.
Yeah. But do you still feel the passion every day when you're going out there, or are some days harder than others?
Dude, let me tell you this. there is no fucking hard day in this industry.
Right.
The most difficult day I've ever had on set blows away the best day of any real job. And that's no shit, it's no joke. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have a craft service truck that will cook you any, let's see, how about a hot turkey and cheese with mashed potatoes? Okay, give me 5 minutes. You're like, what other job does that shit? It doesn't exist. And I'll tell you, it's easy. You can't sustain A-list. But motherfucker, you could sustain C-list. That's no joke. I hadn't had to get a real job in a long time.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not a household name. I've never been a marquee actor. But I'm very grateful to be employed in this industry. I still dig it. I love it. I love what I do. I can't say a negative word about this business, at least from my perspective.
That is amazing, because you don't always hear that from a lot of actors coming up through it who've been in it for so long.
It's because they're bitter, resentful, dirty fucks.
And not willing to just do the work.
Well, I gotta tell you, I was talking to somebody, excuse me, first of all, you ever been to lunch sometime? And like, especially now with smartphones, you're here with a buddy, and it's like rings, it says mom. He's like, I'll call her back. You're like, I don't fucking like you.
Yeah.
If you fucking sent your mom to voicemail, what kind of fucking friend are you to me, right? That's why I love you, but I don't love you fucking that much. Let me see if it's, no, it's not my family. Okay, back to you. What were we talking about?
Does anybody remember?
I get sidetracked, man.
No, that's good, and that is the life of an actor. Though I do find a lot of actors, we have a hard time keeping on track with anything. But let me ask you this: I take a little bit of umbrage with you saying you were never that marquee guy, because being a Gen Xer. There's a good portion of my teen years where you were that number one guy. You were the number one guy on the call sheet for everything. So like when we looked at that cool guy, it was you, Norman Reedus, River Phoenix. Like, it's to me, and I think a lot of us here kind of feel the same way. Or I don't think you're here.
So it was all, look, I'm tickled that you feel that way. But I've made a career out of doing movies that nobody sees. That's just the fact of the matter. I appreciate that y'all have seen some independent films, but my widest viewed film is still an underground cult hit. I've never done studio films. I've never done a single studio film that made any money. I've done really 2 studio films. Powder, that got pulled immediately, and then I did a Stallone film. It was called I See You. I think it came out and it was called Whiteout. I did a Stallone movie. Yeah. The only one that nobody saw. But let me tell you this, man. Everybody had told me, hey, so Stallone's like 5'2". Don't look him in the eye. Hey, I'm in the wardrobe with the motherfucker. The motherfucker's like 5'9". He's like, I'm 5'11". He's like almost as tall as me. I'm like, I'm looking at the dude's barefoot. It's like, he wears lifts. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm looking at his fucking heels. He's 5'9". Am I taller than him? Yeah, but it's not like he's, where's Stallone go? You know? And he couldn't have been cooler. This is no shit. So we shot this in Vancouver in 1998, and I was chatting with him, and he realized I was a martial artist. He's like, yeah, I like to do some boxing. I'm like, no shit, motherfucker. But he goes, you know, Tyson's fighting this week. I was like, I know. I'm gonna try and go to see. He's like, you want to go? I'll hook it up. He fucking closes down Planet Hollywood. No shit. I go to the rooftop of Planet, he closes it down in Vancouver. He knows I'm a huge fucking Rocky fan. We're watching the Tyson fight, and he calls my best friend T and does Rocky. Yeah, I'm sitting here with you, watching Tyson. I was like, what the fuck? Talk about a surreal moment. And everybody talking about all the bullshit that people hear about the industry, that motherfucker could not have been cooler. And I guarantee you somebody in here has heard a story about Bruce Lee. Dude couldn't have been more regular, cooler, and he was fucking regular dude height too. Like all the shit, right? How bizarre is that shit? Talk about like weird stories that float around. Dude could not have been a sounder human being. And I'll never forget that shit. I watched the Tyson fight with fucking Rocky, and he did the Rocky voice.
For one of your friends, like that's the ultimate brag too, right? Like, yo, just 1 second.
Dude, we still talk about it to this day. He's like, remember fucking Stallone called? We're like, oh my god, I know, it's fucking bizarre.
No, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what style of martial arts did you study?
Everything.
Everything. What was your favorite?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, by far.
Yeah.
So I started in Goju-Ryu Shotokan, ended up doing Taekwondo, some Judo, then got into Muay Thai. Then I was teaching Shotokan class, and a dude came in with a gi on, started putting mats down. I saw the patch at the bottom of the gi pants, and it said Rickson, and then Gracie. I was like, I know Gracie, but who's this Rickson guy? Probably some plumber that's a partner with... I had no idea that he was a champion of the family, and I told him, I said, dude, I've heard about, are you guys any relationship to Royce Gracie? For those of you who don't know, it's pretty much like talking to Michael Jordan and going, are you related to David Jordan? And Michael's like, yeah, he's my little brother. I had no idea. And he throws the gi at me and goes, man, pull the gi, tonight you train with us. I was like, can I really? He's like, yeah, my friend, you're gonna love this, man. The lifelong martial artist, man, come on, you go to the ground, you're gonna love this, man. I did, fell in love, never looked back. So, without question, the most important martial art in my life is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Own 3 academies now. It's been a huge part of my life since the 90s. Realistically, I spend more time on the mat than I spend acting. It just doesn't pay nearly as well. Yeah.
What seems to be, and I don't want to say it's a trend, but have you noticed more actors that are doing the BJJ? We've got obviously Ed O'Neill got his black belt years ago. See Tom Hardy doing the same thing. We got Facebook guy. Zuckerberg's got his black belt training with Iggy as well. Is there a reason you think that so many celebrities are doing this, or is it just you don't know?
Dude, I'll tell you this. If you're a dude who's really a dude and you experience it and you don't keep doing it, I fucking question you. Because I'll tell you this is truth, man. This is truth. I was a lifelong martial artist. And the first time that I fucking went and rolled, we did a little warm-up and then we did some sparring. And his name was Matt Akins. He's 135 pounds soaking wet. He's still a very dear friend of mine. I've always been 170 pounds since adulthood. This dude, and I won 6 national championships. I was a lifelong martial artist. So I was very good at what I did. This dude arm locked me, knee barred me, took me down, mounted me, choked my neck, ankle lock, shoulder lock, and he could do it over and over again. It's a very difficult thing to look in the mirror and go, I either have to hope I never come across a dude like that in a dark alley, or I need to learn that shit. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna walk through life with my fingers crossed, hoping. Like, no, motherfucker, if that sorcery is out there, it's gonna be in my motherfucking pocket. And I learned that shit. And I tell you, if you know that shit's out there and you don't fucking run after it and grab it and try and keep it next to you, we have very little in common, man. When you know it's out there and you don't get it, it's like back in the 1900s. I know there's penicillin, but fuck it, I don't need it. Like, what the fuck is wrong?
No, leeches are working good. The leeches are fine.
If I'm gonna be in a Kroger parking lot walking at midnight and another dude's walking, I'm gonna know for a fact, like, unless you have a weapon, I can fucking put you to sleep. And the proof is in the pudding. Don't believe my words. Look at the truth in behavior. I give it to my kids. One of the most important things that I'm gonna leave behind is their ability to choke a motherfucker unconscious if he does them wrong. And they will be able to protect their mom in the Walmart parking lot. And I feel fucking sorry for somebody that does something wrong to one of them. Anyway, that's my rant.
Me too. And I'm a little afraid right now. It's all right.
But back to Zuckerberg.
Yes.
So there was a lot of actors and celebrities that used to train, and they used to do like only private lessons. I'll tell you, Tom Hardy and Mario Lopez, they're competing in tournaments. Like, they're coming, I think they're both blue or purple belt by now, but they're actually not just doing privates. Motherfucker, they're signing up for tournaments, and you're shaking hands, you're like, holy fuck, my next match is Tom Hardy. What fucking sack does that dude have? With everything to lose and nothing to gain. You know motherfuckers I want to be the motherfucker that tapped out Tom Hardy. You know what I mean? And he still shows up. Let me tell you, that is stud shit right there. It's so easy to just, I'm just going to roll with my friends. And that's how most people are. Most actors are. When I meet actors, they're like, I've been training for 5 years. I'm like, how the fuck you been doing it for 5 years and we've never rolled together? What kind of fucking closet are you training in?
So who are the toughest guys in Hollywood? I got to assume Michael Jai White's pretty high up there.
He's a stand-up striker, so he's not a ground guy. But yeah, I mean, he's a Michael Jai White is a very, very talented martial artist.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, unknown, but the most decorated, highly skilled actor in Hollywood, bar none, is a guy by the name of Bryn Foster. Look him up. He's elite in a number, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
Bryn Foster. Write his name down.
So y'all came here and not expecting to be talking fight, and here we
You don't know who he is, but I'll tell you, that's the dude. That's the real deal.
Amazing. So, what about you? When it comes to your passion, you say you spend more time on the mat than you do on the camera. Where does your biggest passion lie? Is it in the martial arts, or is it in
My kids, my family.
Sorry.
Second place is not even close.
Yeah. So what would be your second place then? To your kids, your family. What is your biggest passion in life outside of your family?
You know, look. Here's the deal. I love acting. If I stopped doing it, it would affect me financially. If you took martial arts away from me, it would affect me psychologically.
Right.
They're both mandatory for survival, but it is my priestless church, it is my sanctuary, it is my therapy, it is, at the kids class, we do 4 things every single day. We train our body, we train our mind, we eat good, we sleep good. Martial arts mat does all of that for me. If anybody says, well, I'm depressed, it's like, well, first, are you metabolically fit, healthy? If not, before you take medicine, go and figure that shit out. A martial arts mat will do that. And then if you're still depressed, or you still have anxiety or something, then you can talk about other avenues. But I'll tell you, the martial arts mat is my medicine cabinet. It's my everything. And if you took that away, I'm not a dude to go down dark holes, but I fear I'd probably find one to creep down.
Well, we're glad that you've got that. Let me, because we are here about your acting, and I feel like I'm maximizing all your time on the fighting because I'm a fight guy too. But when it comes to your career, and I know this is a hard question to answer, but what is the one thing that you look on that you're the most proud of in your career?
Born a Champion. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a film called Born a Champion. There's one person. 2.
3 in the back.
2. So, we're talking about this. My love and my heart is on a martial arts mat. I'm a bigger product of a martial arts mat than anything else in my life, outside of my dad and my granddad and my family. But I wrote a movie, came out in 21, 3 years ago. And I play a character that I wrote. It's my love letter to jiu-jitsu. And the lead character has a son. And I wrote this script before I had kids. And by the time I got it financed and produced it, I had 2 kids. So I changed that character. There's a time cut. So there's one younger version and there's an older version. And both of my boys play my son in the movie. I'm incredibly proud of that film. And I think all of y'all should go out and check it out. It's called Born a Champion. Now here's the deal. I sold it to Lionsgate, who retitled it Born a Champion because they wanted something alphabetical that comes up on, B. Because the movie is like, ain't nobody fucking born a champion. Nobody's born a champion. That's shit that you have to work and you have to invest in, you gotta earn it, right? Shows you how little they understood about the whole concept of the film. Like, let's name it Born a Champion. Like, what? Did you even watch it? Somebody in the marketing department, no, but it'll come up in the meetings. Anyway.
All about the algorithms.
Yeah, exactly. So check it out. If you haven't had an opportunity, check it out. I think you get it on Amazon for $3 or something.
Love it. Now, if you all have any questions, please put your hand up because I don't want to maximize your time. There, Britta, go right ahead, sir.
I was just wondering, is it true that you almost played Major Don in space, Lost in Space?
Say it again.
Is it true that you were almost in Lost in Space?
Is it true that I was almost in Lost in Space? No, I wasn't Lost in Space until they fired me.
Oh,
yeah. You want the no
Yeah.
shit. So they wanted Matt LeBlanc to play the from Friends. And he wasn't available. They hired me, I went to London, and then he became available. And they're like, fuck you, let's go to London. So that's the truth, man. That's true. Hey, I could sit up here and like make shit up, make myself look cool. They fucking fired my ass. They fired my ass.
Damn.
They fired my ass. They're like, peace out, get the fuck out of here. No shit, from London.
Did you reply by saying, whoa?
No. I'm like, you know, look, come on, I'm a big boy. It's like, I get it. He's a bigger name, and you know, it is what it is. It's business, you know. I get it. I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't believe this. It's like, you flew me to London, you know, whatever. And life goes on. I got more jobs. I wasn't unemployed, you know. But yeah, they fired my ass. Fired. See ya. So yeah, it was true. Almost. No, I was in that motherfucker. And then they're like, next. Didn't even shoot a frame. So it's not like I did it and they didn't like what I did. No. Isn't that funny?
It wasn't like
and then the film came out and made
It was horrible.
$18.95.
about that.
I mean, I'm not wondering about dirt in a wound, but
generous.
but that would have been cool because it would have been a studio movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember getting that and going, oh my god, they're actually putting me in a studio movie. Nah, just kidding. And then they fired me.
It's coming. I feel it's coming. Whoa. So,
one more thing. In the industry, they call it, no, you were replaced. I'm like, fuck off, I was fired. They fired me. Say it, fired, say it with me. Your agent's like, no, they replaced you. I'm like, what kind of shit is that? What kind of made up shit is that? They fired my, well, okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I like that. Honestly, because this is a story I've never heard before, and I don't think many of us have heard this story before. So we like the juice, like any other.
I'll give you all the juice.
Oh yes, please give us the
I'm sure you
juice.
guys have figured it out by now. I don't hold back.
Where are you from originally, if you don't mind me asking?
Born in Lake Charles, Louisiana, grew up in Texas.
Amazing. And you said that your father and your grandfather are a big influence on you. Tell me a little bit about those two gentlemen and why they're such a big influence.
Best human beings I've ever met in my life. My granddaddy probably couldn't accurately punctuate a grammatically correct sentence, but the wisest individual that I've ever come across, bar none. And everything that he did, he stuck in me, are the most valuable things that I possess to this day.
And of course,
Two of the most impactful souls I've ever come across. And I hope I can be 10% to my kids.
well, it sounds, the way you talk about your kids and the work that you put into them, it sounds like you're doing that and more. Let me ask you though, just because we're all here, everybody loves your career. Of course, Powder was huge. It got pulled, like you said, but it was huge for us, like, because we, especially if we were that era. Like, I mean, I remember that was one of our first DVDs we had, you know, so or VHS even. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry. Betamax.
What are the
laser discs.
Laser discs. They're like frisbees,
But you had done so much that were so huge to us at that era, that grew up in that kind of Richard Linklater era, if you will. What was that like for you to be at that point? Did you realize how big kind of you were to an influence to especially guys of our era, and then I'm sure to the ladies?
No, again, I'm going to correct you on this because I'm telling you from my perspective.
Right.
I don't get recognized. And there's never been a time in my life where people recognize me. It may be like maybe once a month, somebody's like, did anybody ever tell you, once a month, maybe. And I said, did anybody ever tell you look kind of like, and I go, yeah, I can see that. It's it. And I'm not ashamed of that. I tell you, anonymity is a prized possession. It allows you to be a dick when you need to be a dick. Let me tell you something. If Tom Cruise complains at the waiter, suddenly it's that Stallone story. I can be a dick. If you're a bad waiter, I'm like, motherfucker, I heard 20 minutes ago. What the fuck? I can say it, and I can, because nobody knows.
Right.
I've never been that dude. Powder came out and they made $36 million. Despite being pulled, but that was like the biggest thing. Nobody recognized me from Powder.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like
prosthetics and stuff.
I was an indie film actor that nobody recognized, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like I said, I've never had to get a real job, so I'm incredibly grateful and proud. But it was cool being in Hollywood. What I really consider the glory days in the '90s when they were making art, like real independent films. And there was no agenda. Nobody was trying to like preach to you and steer you in a. It was just a story.
That's right. Sorry.
You okay? Maria, you okay?
Sorry.
You know, it was a glorious time to be in Hollywood, but I've never been, and I'm not trying to be overly humble. Like,
Right.
I was never that there, ever. I've never gotten roles because of box office. You know,
Right.
I've had to audition for everything, and I even feel good about that because when you get a role, you're like, no, motherfucker, you saw me do it.
And you worked for it.
Yeah, you know.
You actually worked for it.
But it's and really nobody even recognizes from Boondock, because by the time Boondock became famous, it was 2001, because it came out it came out in a theater, nobody saw it, and then it happened organically on Blockbuster.
Right.
You know, so it's. I mean, I've had a unique career in that I've kind of gotten out of this without. You know, I'm sure that kind of scrutiny, that loss of your anonymity,
Right.
that can be a little toxic sometimes, and what I call unearned adoration. Because I mean, I know, as you guys know, sometimes when you see some famous actor, you're like, and the person can see you do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, this shit's never happened to me. I've been a real dude. I mow my own lawn. I tend to my own garden. You know, it's like, I'm very proud of not having to get a real job, but I've never been like have generational wealth where, no, but I'm good, I got everything I fucking need, you know, and I'm content and I'm happy as shit.
So what is the one thing would be the cap to the career? Is there a dragon that you're chasing right now? Is there what's your MacGuffin you're looking for right now in life?
Well, you know, being in this business for that long, you know, I think if you go on IMDb, International Movie Database, that lists everything you've ever done, and I'm not bragging, but I'm just, you know, so for example, like when you're Tom Cruise, I think he's done, 50 films, which is fucking Rita's past 50 in 3 years, because when when you're Tom Cruise, you can do one every 5 years because you make $80 billion. we got to churn out like 4 a year, so we passed that. So countless hours, exponentially more on film, right? Having said that, pretty much everything Tom Cruise has ever done is like a keeper, you know what I mean? Whereas me and Ritas may have 300 things we've done, I know for me, there's only 4 things that I tell people that are like, hey man, make sure you see that. You know what I mean? And I'm very grateful for those 4. And one of the most recent ones just came out in April. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a movie called Nefarious. Okay, well that's, to me, those are movies why you get into the business. That's a film that you say, I hope one day I get an opportunity to play a role like that. And so it happened even in the twilight of my career. You know, now. It happened 2 years ago. So, Born a Champion, Nefarious, Powder, and then I wrote a book about 8 years ago that I'm the four of the most proud moments of my life. And
What's the book called?
it's called Jane 2, TWO. If you want to know about my granddaddy, it's largely my dad and my granddaddy played major roles in that. But those moments, you know, you want moments like that.
Yeah.
Moments where you feel like, okay, maybe this made a difference.
Right.
You know, there's a difference between success and significance. I guess more than success, I want significance. And I think those 4 are significant, in my opinion.
You had a question.
Nefarious. When I watched that movie, I was like, oh my, this is. It felt so relevant because it's about many topics. It was about sitting against everybody who takes. But it also made it relevant because it's like a murder case, with all the things going on. Did you feel the movie kind of affected you, not only in a role, affected you on a more personal level?
Yeah, so she asked if doing the movie Nefarious affected me on a personal level. Let me tell you something. You know, so many people have reached out on social media, and here's the difference. As an actor, on the receiving end here, there's some movies you do, if somebody recognizes you, they're like, oh shit, you were in that. Right on, man, and they keep walking. There's some things that you do, and these 4 things that I did that I mentioned are things that people stop you and they want to talk for about an hour. And you can tell when you get an Instagram message, somebody like, hey dude, I loved you in Savage Planet. Cool, keep up the good work, peace out. It's like, okay, you saw it, you recognize it was me, but you really didn't. Then when people see Nefarious and they write, 1,000-word Instagram in my DM, you realize, holy shit, that moved you so much you kept on going. Or the book I wrote, or Powder, or Born a Champion. Those are the moments. So yes, something like that. The same reason that it had an effect on the people that watched it, it had it on me. Because for example, Nefarious, they're not my words, it was written by somebody else, but just saying that over and over, you start to eventually go, damn, Flannery, you need to pay attention to that as well. It starts to resonate on a personal level.
That's what I was I've been watching and that's why I thought wow, because I can remember last time I saw a theory that made me like, who am I? One of my values. And I hope my
Well, I hope you guys see it. If you do get a chance, I'm not kidding, shoot me a social media message and let me know what you think. If you haven't seen it, see Born a Champion and Nefarious. And shoot me a message, let me know your thoughts.
Born a Champion and Nefarious. Make sure you go check both of those out, folks. I feel like we've gone past our time here. Does anybody have any last questions here? Or just...
Just doing one question right now. I was going to go, let's go with the martial arts question. For somebody who has a background doing striking, because you have a background doing striking first and then switching over to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, was it a hard transition because you're so accustomed to standing up doing strikes, going to the ground, or how was it?
So the question is, growing up in martial arts, striking-based martial arts, was it a hard transition going to the ground? Let me tell you, the hardest transition is going, holy shit, I wasted a lot of fucking time. I'll tell you this, absolutely. I'll give you an example. And this is because I came up striking. I competed on the national level. And if you took, even as a black belt, if you took a D1 strong safety and you put gloves on him, I'd have a fight on my hands. The same ain't true on the ground. It ain't true on the ground. There's nobody that's never done it that walks in, I don't give a shit about the size difference, you're gonna get mauled. You're gonna get mauled and you're gonna feel like you're drowning. And it happened to me. There's two types of people in the world. When you come in, and I was a decorated martial artist, shook hands with a 135-pound dude soaking wet, and he wrecked me. The first type of person's like, well, in the street, I would have groin shot and eye gouged, and then the second person's like, no. If I saw him in a dark alley, he'd leave with everything that I find valuable. And it takes a big, manageable ego to stick it inside and go, what do I need to exchange to procure that level of sorcery? So was it difficult? It was difficult on the ego. Because after that many years, you realize, I have a 0, not a 2%, not a 4% chance of succeeding. I have a 0% chance of staying alive if I don't know this, and somebody even does at a rudimentary level. The same is not true in striking. If you're an athletic dude, you can catch a dude and knock him out. You see it every day in street fights and in UFC. If somebody doesn't know the ground, and everybody does now, there's only one thing where people go, you have to absolutely know. I don't give a shit whatever else. You can combine it with karate, you can combine it with Muay Thai, you can combine it with any other thing. But the one thing that if it's missing and they know it, you're fucked. It's jiu-jitsu. So was the transition hard? It was hard on the ego. Because you're like, you walk around, there's so many instructors out there going, oh, you're deadly, you're good in a parking lot, you have nothing to, bullshit, you're full of shit. That's the truth, everybody that's ever experienced has the same story. The truth in martial arts, when the clouds opened and the sunshine came down and you went, that's what we all thought we were chasing, it's that martial art, that martial art. And I say that because I found it late. I had to park everything that I knew aside and go, no, that's where the truth is, and I inundated myself in that shit. I became obsessed. Because when the truth hits you in the face, if you don't look at it deeply and stick it in your pocket, wow, man, wow. 2 plus 2 is 4, yeah, I'm gonna hang on to that one.
It's like the first time you get in a match with someone doing judo. You've never done judo and they just toss you like it's absolutely nothing.
But even the same thing in judo there. If you take a strong safety I mean, and he tackles you. It's possible that he tackles a judo dude. Once it goes to the ground, there is not 3%, not 4, 0% possibility. If you don't know it, and they do. And I say that because I trained judo for many, many years as well. And you get a strong dude that comes in, he grabs your leg, especially now that fucking judo's been watered down. You can't touch below the leg because wrestlers are wrecking them with singles and doubles, which is a pussy ass shit to do. When you're getting your ass beat because they're doing something, instead of fixing the hole, you just go, we're gonna make it illegal. Fuck out of here with that shit.
Yes, every jiu-jitsu guy hates when the wrestlers show up at the tournaments. I'm just gonna put that out there.
No, hey, dude, both our boys are wrestlers. They're both multiple-time Texas state champions, and we just moved to Oklahoma. You know why we moved to Oklahoma? Because they don't do wrestling in junior high, and only some of the schools in high school have wrestling. So we moved to Oklahoma so they could compete for their schools. So what a wrestling room produces as far as a human being, let me tell you something. There's a lot of sports out there that in NFL or NBA, you get a giant fish at the end of a career. You go to high school, you go to college in hopes that you're going to get a contract. You're going to get signed by the NBA. You know what wrestling does? They know big fish at the end. There's a fisherman, motherfucker, and that dude will be able to cast his line in any pond and get whatever the fuck he wants for the rest of his life. He doesn't need a check. He'll earn his own. The kind of character and integrity that a wrestling or a mat produces is the type of dude that's going to be the CEO of any company that he chooses to climb the ladder on. And I firmly believe that shit. Anyway.
I believe it as well. We're out of time. This is the last question right here. I promised you, and then we'll go, okay?
Boondock Saints 3.
Boondock Saints 3.
We knew that one was coming.
Come on.
Come on now. Well, as you guys follow the media, we're doing a part 3. We are going to shoot it as early as March and probably as late as August. But we are in
Back in Canada?
3 stages. What's that?
Back in Canada?
I can't speak to that right now, although I do know the answer. I'll tell y'all. I know those 4 fuckers right there. I know that one right there. I know that chick right there too. So yeah, it's happening. That might have been, let me see if that's Rita's. It's not. But I did text Rita's a question about those 4 chicks right in the front, because we haven't seen them in years. She's like, but yeah, it's happening. We've had creative meetings and whatnot ongoing for the last month, and it's fun. Basil Iwanek, the producer of the whole John Wick series, is producing it.
Oh, wow.
So you know it's going to be dirty and ugly and graphic. So we're excited, man. It's been a huge part of he and I both of our lives. So it's kind of neat to dip back into that, you know. And I'll tell you, when people say, "What's your favorite project you ever done in this long career?" There's a big difference in something you're proud of and something you had fun on the day.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm proud of Boondock Saints, but the most fun I've ever had on the day, outside of the movie I cast my boys in, is fucking Boondock. Because you don't get to make a movie with your best friend.
Yeah.
And when we both got cast as brothers in Boondock, like, we didn't know that they'd cast each other. And it was like, motherfucker, they cast you? And it was almost like, fuck, do they know? Like, they're gonna send us to a foreign country, Canada, fucking foreign country, with a pocket full of per diem and put us up in a 5-star hotel across the street from a world-famous strip club? Are you kidding me? And they expect us to show up on time. We did show up on time. Hungovers occasionally, but we showed up. You don't get to make movies with your best friend. So that shit was like, it was kind of bizarre and incredibly fun and nonsensical. So yeah, man, making a 3rd one will be a joy, man.
Honestly, I can't wait. I think most of us can't wait. I think the majority of people here are all Boondock Saint fans, and part 3 is a long time coming. Hopefully that we got the whole cast back, and Willem and Julie in this one as well. I know you'll be able to tell us at another time, though.
Another time. Let me just say this, man. It's not lost on me, especially for a movie that I did that long ago, that you guys still want to show up, sit in a chair, and ask me questions about some shit that I've already been probably overcompensated for 20-something years ago. It's not lost on me. I'm incredibly grateful. I hope it never ends. And just know that I know a lot of people come up to the table, they're like, oh, you don't know what it means. No, y'all don't know what it means. I got the big side of the wishbone. You may be holding on to it going, this is the big end. It's not the big end. I got the big end. Trust me. I'm grateful for y'all. I hope the shit never ends. God bless y'all. I love the shit out of y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Patrick.